Greetings and welcome back to the Casual Wargamer. Apologies for the lack of videos lately, things in the real world, but we're back again. And I haven't done a Crusade video for some time, and I keep meaning to do one, so I'm going to jump in on something here. So, Crusade. Where do I think Games Workshop have gone wrong? And I'm quite happy for discourse. If you agree, you disagree, fine. So, in the 10th edition rulebook that came in the Leviathan box set, you also had the Tyrannic War Crusade rules, which I will refer to as the default rules probably from here on. And it gave you the basic rules to play Crusade, focused primarily on the Fourth Tyrannic War, as the name suggests. Now, part of me wants to say that I did read that was going to become a separate book by itself if you didn't buy the Leviathan box set, but I don't recall it ever coming out, so I don't know if it ever happened or I dreamt that. But so you had a very basic set of rules. None of which was too complex, none of it was too heavy, some of it needs to be reworded, but basically you built a roster. When it comes to a game, you'd agree how many points you were going to play with your opponent, you'd pick a list out of that, you'd choose your detachment, spend any relevant requisition, and you played. You picked your agendas and you played. And then you would get your battle honors and your battle scars and your relics, and you'd get all this good stuff. And the only sort of odd stuff with it was that there was two sort of battle honor, how can I put it? I'm going to say trees, where you chose a starting ability. I think one was like an anti-monster type one, and I forget off the top of my head what the other one was. It's weird because I was thinking about it only about 10 minutes ago. And basically, you started with the basic ability, and then you could split and choose whether you wanted one of this, and then it would join together, and so on. And you could build the bonuses you wanted for that particular unit or character or whatever. And that was it. It was simple. It focused slightly too heavily on Tyranids. And I think they probably, I should say, wanted you to play with at least one person playing Tyranids. Tyrannic War, after all. But it was a nice basic set of rules. Nothing too silly, and it worked. Then, Pariah Nexus, which was the next book. They like coming back to this. There was a Crusade book for Pariah Nexus under 9th? Or was it 8th? I think it was 9th. And then recently, we got Nachmund Gauntlet. Okay. So where's my issues? Okay, first off, these two books and what you got in the Tyrannic War section of the Leviathan rulebook is a huge flood of lore material. It's lovely. If you're like me and you love reading the lore, it's great, and it gives you lots of cool photos, which Games Workshop seems to like to pad their books out with. Great. But one thing that I noticed when the Pariah Nexus book came out was something that I view as a mistake. And I feel the same way with what's in the Nachmund Gauntlet book. To me, and admittedly, this is just a personal opinion, Crusade isn't about a specific setting within the lore. It doesn't matter whether you and your friends see yourselves as fighting, the 13th Black Crusade, or you're fighting the Tyrannic War, or the Pariah Nexus, or the Damocles Gulf, or wherever. You're just playing Crusade. Each of you might have a completely different idea of what you're playing, but, you are just playing Crusade. The problem with these new books, as I look down at them, is that they expect you to be playing just that one. The Pariah Nexus book, for example, contains all the basic rules for playing Crusade. But how can I put this? So the agendas are like 90% the same. There's a couple of new ones, but everything else is the same as was in Tyrannic War. You've obviously got new relics. Battle honours, some of them are new, most of them are the same from Tyrannic War. Okay. Why did you not just give us a load of new ones, Games Workshop? More options, more cool things to do with our units. But no, you copied, let's say 80% of the ones that we already had and gave us new ones. The same is true with some of the agendas. Some of them are just renamed but are identical. And then when you get to the actual adventures, missions, and so forth, I don't know where I got adventures from. I suppose it's all an adventure. They filter you into 3 brackets. You are the Seekers, you are the Protectors. I think the other one was called Marauders or something like that, or Interlopers. And if you were the Seekers, you were playing Imperium. If you were the Protectors, you were playing Necrons. If you were anybody else, you were Interlopers and Marauders. And you scored based on the faction you were with, even though, 2 players in your group might be in the Interlopers with Tau and Orcs, they would score for that. It's like, why did you need to do that? Don't get it. And then you get the missions, and they've added this new, it's quite funky in a way, but they have this advantage mechanic where you have to choose, you and your opponent, before the game starts, you have to secretly nominate whether your force is aggressive, balanced, or defensive. And then you cross-reference it, and it tells you who's going first. And whoever goes first, whoever has that advantage, gains a special mechanic in the Pariah Nexus missions. Why did we need that? Why did we not just get a load of new relics, a load of new agendas, battle honours, potential battle scars, and a shed load of new missions, new scenarios? And the same is true of Nachman Gauntlet. They have built this book around you fighting over the city or planet of Sangua Terra. And again, it splits you into like Imperial, Chaos, and everybody else. And it goes even further than that. It gives you kind of like this weird little blacky white map of the main city and splits it into like 5 or 6 sections. And you fight for control of that. Whoever has you start to accrue control points. And whoever has the most achieves this ability or gains this. And it's like, okay. And again, you've got some new agendas and some new battle honours and new relics. And still, most of them are basically the ones from Tyrannic War, renamed. And it's just like, I don't think Games Workshop have got this right. It seems to me that they expect you to play a single Crusade of Nachman Gauntlet, however long that takes you. And then you're going to start all over again. Maybe this time you'll play Tyrannic War or you'll play Pariah Nexus. I don't see Crusade like that. Maybe I'm wrong. To me, Crusade is you and your friends playing Crusade games. You might get yourself up to 3,000 points of a roster with all this cool stuff. But then little Lex and Tim join you and they've only got their 1,000 points. So you have to build 1,000 points to play them. And you play those smaller point missions. And slowly they build up, same as you and your other friends have. And it's an open-ended campaign. You just keep going. So I get what they're doing here, but I think it's the wrong way to do it. What you should get is Network Gauntlet, Prime Nexus, Damocles Gulf, Fourth Tyrannic War. And it gives you a load of lore. That's great. These can be really good lore books. But then just give us new agendas, new battle honours, new battle scars, new relics, and a shed load of new missions. And leave it at that. Give people options for their ongoing crusades. Don't just give us a whole new book and go, we expect you to just play this. Me and my friends don't. We've got our crusade lists, and we'll just go, oh, which mission do we want to do today? Do we want to do Tyrannic or do we want to do Prime Nexus? And we pick it. And we mix and match the new agendas and the crusade relics and the Blackstone whatevers. And we combine it into one, because that's much more enjoyable and much more fun. All your missions are brand new in each of the three things. So why can we not just get a load of other new stuff? Why do we have to be pushed into a specific crusade? See what I did there? When it should all just be a series of extra add-ons, maybe some optional rules. If you want to include Blackstone points or you want to include this, you can do so. But we don't need a whole new crusade, play this for 6 weeks and start again and play this one and start again. No, let people... Crusade, to me, I've said this in other previous videos, Crusade should be about slowly building up your roster into your collection. It's not something that you play for 6 weeks and start again. It's something where you play and you keep adding those models, those units to your collection until you can play bigger and bigger games. That, to me, is Crusade. And then someone new comes in and you can still play them without squishing them because of the way Crusade works. Games Workshop. I know you're not watching this because you don't watch little people's contents, but please just do a book now and again, maybe one a year or maybe every 18 months or something like that. And instead of making it a whole new mechanical system, just make it options. Things that we can add in. There used to be a book, I mentioned it in a previous video, I think it was end of 4th or maybe beginning of 5th, called Battle Missions. And it was a book that contained 3 narrative missions for each of the factions available at the time, bar I think Chaos Demons. It was one of the best books that Games Workshop ever put out. You charge me 30 odd quid for a book this size that's full of missions, brand new narrative missions, even ones that are like one-sided, like the old I forget what they call them now, but used to appear in things like the original not Necton Gauntlet, what's the word? Well, the original campaign that was based on it is now gone out of my head as I'm trying to say this live. Bear with me. Vigilus Crusade. There we go. Vigilus Crusade. They had some great, I can't think what they called them. It was like legendary or whatever, but they were basically missions that were built for events that happened in those campaigns. Give me a book like that this size, the size of Prime Nexus or Necton Gauntlet, with nothing but new missions in it for Crusade. Narrative, thematic missions, and I will give you my money every time. But I seriously get irked when I buy this book. I mean, I'm going to read the lore, but I don't need an entire section, a showcase of models. Don't need that. I also don't need nor want a shed load of extra rules or trying to force me to play a specific way. Crusade should just be simples, fun, and a good laugh between your friends in a non-competitive, casual format. That turned into quite a rant, didn't it? But let me know what you think. I really genuinely believe this, that they kind of pushing you to do a specific sort of thing and then don't dump it after a couple of months and start again with a brand new one. No, let's, Crusade should be an ongoing, open-ended format where you just keep going and going and going and bring more people into playing Crusade, because the more people you play against, the better. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about these particular books and how Crusade plays in this sort of fashion. Do you agree with me? Or do you disagree? And if you disagree, please tell me why. Tell me why, and I mean this in a nice way, not in a judgmental way, but tell me why we need individual campaigns when we can just get on with it and play Crusade with a host of new missions, new battle honours, new battle scars, new relics, and so forth, and agendas. Let me know down below. Thank you for watching, guys, and putting up with my ramblings. Please give me a thumbs up and a like, and hit the subscribe button. I really do want to try and get the casual wargamer to sort of like pick up speed at this point, and I want 2025 to be the year that happens. Engage with me in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Let me know what you think. Take care and good gaming.